as small business owners, our companies kind of rely on us, like you've talked about, like sometimes you end up cleaning your own house on Thanksgiving. And if we get sick or a family member gets sick and we have to take care of them, then the business can suffer. And so I'm curious how you maintain your business. I read that you got remarried, and within 3 months you found out basically back to back that you're pregnant and your husband had cancer. So how do you handle having 3 kids, being pregnant, and a new husband that's now has to go through cancer treatments, and still your company has survived through it all? What did you learn, I guess, during that time, or what did you do that allowed your company to still sustain
through COVID?
Wow. Yeah. And a small thing going on in the
Yeah.
world.
We got married in July 2020. And then 3 months later, my best friend that I finally met, I was a single mom for 8 years, and finally met me a man, because I was, dating other people, but I wanted this handyman that could fix things. Like, I'm always pushing my tool belt, and I needed a guy that was going to fix things with me, and I finally found him. And then 3 months later, he finds out that he has cancer.
Wow.
And testicular cancer. So we were like, oh no, like, what are we going to do? And he was 30 at the time.
Wow.
So it wasn't like he was some, old guy. Like, he wasn't. He was 30 years old. And so I have to tell you, though, it's all through God. I'm a huge believer in God, and I know that we would have never been able to get through it without him. He put the right people in our lives. He gave us that peace beyond understanding. I have goosebumps just now thinking about it. He led a path and empowered our staff, empowered us as so 6 days later, so in September, he found out he had cancer. They removed one of his testicles, and we thought he was good to go. COVID, they didn't do any tests or anything like that. So we just continued living our lives. We were good.
Yeah.
And then December, Christmas Eve, actually, early December, he started having pain in the stomach. And then Christmas Eve is when we found out that it had metastasized to his abdomen and his right lung. 6 days later, I find out I'm pregnant. Yeah. So I finally met my best friend. We thought we had cancer. We thought it was good, and realized it wasn't. And then I got pregnant. So, what a crazy period that was. But people reached out from the woodworks. I mean, it was just, the only credit I can give is God being able to provide that ability to just keep going. And I remember I would take my husband down. We lived about an hour and a half from where he had to go to get his treatment, his chemo. And so let me just back this up. For 4 months, we tried to do it naturally, trying to heal the cancer without going to the doctor. And we went to the doctor to get follow-ups, but not to get chemo, because chemo could cause more cancer.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, testicular cancer is one of the most aggressive cancers you can have. And at about the 4-month mark, he was rocking in a chair, and he couldn't go to sleep. He couldn't cry. He couldn't talk. And I knew if we didn't do something, I was going to lose him. So we opted to end up going the chemo route. He was 185 when we found out he had cancer. He got down to 129.
Oh my gosh.
I was 129 when I found out I was pregnant. So very quickly, I started weighing more than he did. But I do recall and this is God, right? When he was doing his natural thing, he was doing all this juicing. He was like, try this juice. And I'm like, pregnant, get that away from me.
Yeah.
Back that away. And once he started doing chemo, their smells and their tastes get all kind of awkward as well. And it ended up that we had the exact same smells, the exact same taste that we liked and we didn't like. I mean, to the red gummy bear was the only gummy bear we identical. And he's like, has it been like this the whole time? Like, this is how you've been the whole time? I'm like, yes. Oh, I know. But I'm glad we're on the same page. So, but there is a great story at the end of this. 40 days before my son was born, my husband got to ring the cancer-free bell.
Wow.
Cancer-free. You look at him now, you would never know that he's a cancer survivor. Head to toe, he lost all of his hair.
Really?
Nothing. Yeah, it's just a
Wow.
scrawny little 6 foot tiny
Yeah.
guy. And now he's probably stronger and bigger than he ever was, with a new passion of life, an understanding of what's important. And so we had to go through it. I know that was just a hurdle we had to come over, but now we have a new outlook on life and just a new vision on what's important. So sometimes we have to be reminded,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Wow. That's what a story. I mean, you've been through a lot. And still, did you, I guess, from a business perspective, while you're going through all that personally, were you just leaning on your team to fill in times when, you needed to be taking care of your husband, or, be pregnant or having a kid,
All of the above. I remember
Yeah.
I tried to do the natural at home birth. I tried to do all that,
Mm.
and then I had to have
Yeah.
emergency, but
Oh, wow.
who's counting? But I remember working as I was like giving birth, like trying to get all this stuff done. But I have to have a huge hats off to my staff. Like we're really a family, and I've done my best to kind of cultivate that and to really nurture that. And I mean, they all just picked up the slack and just held us and kept us going. And so I'll be forever grateful for them to helping us get through that process. I mean, we prayed together, we cried together, gave advice, and they were looking for things and ways to heal my husband. And, and so I'll be forever grateful for them. And we couldn't have done it without our team. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And you hear that, you hear people say, well, your team's the most important part of your business. And you don't fully, I don't think, recognize that or realize that until you go through something where you really have to lean on others to step in. And you can't be Superman and be the solo businesspreneur who's going to just handle it all yourself, because there's times where you just can't. So that's, yeah. Wow.
There's a point of like, as a business owner, you don't want all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's now at the point where I get the issues, which aren't always very fun. The fun stuff is kind of now everyone else is doing, like where would I like to eat? Oh, this is the great place to eat. I love doing those. I love that, but I'm not doing that anymore. Now I get the people who are upset, and I have to help kind of guide that stuff, so it's as you grow and as you build, your responsibilities and your position kind of alter, just to kind of, make sure that I'm not a micromanager. Even my VAs, they all have their babies. So we use this software, they use this software. You guys are masters at that. This is your program you're going to master. This is your program you're going to master. And this is your program. Everybody works in all the programs. But if anybody has any questions, I'm not the POC.
Got it.
We go to each other to figure out how to do that, because now that person's ultimately responsible for that program. And so just kind of trying to pull myself out of being the first person to contact, really trying to gather that community within each other to be able to grow. So I can do what I can do, and I can do it good.